Alright, hello guys. This is the mixed practice for triangles unit. So, I sent out the key and here we go. For the first one, for each of the segment lengths, determine if they form a triangle and justify your answer. If it does form a triangle, classify it by sides. Now remember, to form a triangle, the two smallest sides, the sum of the two smallest sides must be greater than the largest. Okay, so what I always do is I figure out which one's the largest and I circle it, and then I add these together. That gives me 27. Is 27 larger than 24? Yes, it is. So I'm going to do a check mark, and they're all different, so this is scaling. For this one, my largest is 9. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 is larger than 9, so it works. And this is also scaling because they're all different. Right here, 18 is my largest. When I add those, they get 18. Is 18 greater than 18? No. That one's a no. And then right here, 34 is my largest. 18 plus 18 gives me 36, which is greater than 34, so that's a yes. And two of my sides are the same, so it's isosceles. If the sum of two sides of a triangle is 45 centimeters, what is the largest possible integral, meaning whole number, I think it means integer, value of for the third side? Well, if the two smaller sides are add up to 45, then it has to be anything less than 44 to work. So any number less than 44, or the largest side it would be 44. Now remember, it could be 44.9, but this said the whole number, so that's why we started. Alright, right here, classify these sides. It says sides. List the sides, least to greatest, and then classify by angles. So if I have a triangle, A, B, C, it helps to draw the picture. If A is 78 and C is 72, then to find that angle B, I'm going to add 78 plus 72, and that gives me 150, and then I subtract from 180, so that's going to give me 30 up top. So I want the sides from least to greatest. So my smallest angle is B, so my smallest side would be AC. The next smallest would be C, which across from that is AB. And then my biggest angle is A, so across from that is BC. And I want to classify by angles. They are all less than 90, so this is acute. For this one right here, I have A, B, and C. If C is 12 and B is 76, 12 plus 76 is 88. So 180 minus 88 is 92. So again, it says least to greatest. So I'm going to zoom this in so I don't have such a distraction around. Okay. My least is angle C, so that's AB. Then it is angle B, so that's AC. And last is BC. And because it's 92, it's going to be obtuse. So this question number 8 is worded a little weird. Some people were confused about the wording, so on your test the wording shouldn't be this confusing, but it says on a map Dallas, Chicago, and Seattle can be connected to form the vertices of a triangle. So if I have Dallas, Chicago, and Seattle. I know geographically that doesn't make sense, but we'll just not worry about that. If the angle between Chicago and Dallas when looking from Seattle is 57. So what that means is if you're standing on Seattle and looking at those two, it's 57. And the angle between Seattle and Dallas when you're looking from Chicago is 60. So again, Seattle is 57, Chicago is 60. Which two cities are furthest apart? Well, the angle looking at Chicago and Seattle from Dallas is, let's see, 60 plus 57 is 117, and then when I subtract that from 180, I get 63. Now, I want to know which two cities are furthest apart, so that means I want to know which one of these sides is the longest. So I got to look at which angle is the biggest, which is Dallas. So across from that is Chicago to Seattle, are furthest apart. Okay, name the shortest side in the picture below. So remember, when you have something like this, you have to break it up into two triangles. So I'm going to do my pink triangle first, and I want the shortest. So I'm going to do shortest to longest. I got to figure out my missing side. So 65 plus 55 is 120, so that makes this 60. My shortest side, I got to look for the shortest angle, is 55. Across from that is DB. Then it's going to be CB and CD. Then I got to do my blue triangle here. And if I have 57 and 62, subtract that from 180, I'm going to get 61 degrees right here. So again, I want the shortest side. So my shortest angle is this one. So across from that is AD. Then it's 62 is BA. Then it's 61 is BD. And then 62, which is BA or AD. Now remember, they share this side right here, so they share this side right here. Those are the same. And therefore, what's my shortest side? Well, if they're the same, then this one's shorter. So AD is your answer. Okay. Number 10, it says list the angles ABC from smallest to largest. So I'm going to draw this picture of ABC, and I have AB is 24, BC is 18, and AC is 20. I want smallest to largest, so my smallest side is 18, which is across from angle A. Then it's 20, which is across from angle B. And then it's 24, which is across from angle C. For this one, I'm going to draw again ABC. I have AC is 5, CB is 12, and BA is 13. Smallest side is 5, so across from that is angle B. Then 12 is angle A. Then 13 is angle C. Please, the biggest problem we have on this test is people not paying attention to detail. I'm asking about angles. Make sure your answer has angles, and I'm asking smallest to largest. Sometimes y'all get so wrapped up, you go backwards. All right, D and E are midpoints of their sides, which means this side is congruent to this, and this side is congruent to this. That also means DE is the midsegment. So if DE is 9, what's AB? Well, remember, if this is x, AB is 2x. So if this is 9, that would be 18. If AB is 7, what's DE? Well, if this is 2x, then how do I get here? I got to go backwards and divide, so that would give me 3.5. If DE is 3x minus 4 and AB is 2x plus 40, what's DE? Well, if this is 3x plus 4, then to get here I multiply it by 2, so that means it's also 6x minus 8. Not plus, sorry, minus. So if this is 6x minus 8 and 2x plus 40, I can set them equal. So I'm going to solve. And when 4x equals 48, x equals 12. Now, that's not what my question asked for. My question wants to know, what is DE? Well, DE is 3x minus 4. So 12 times 3 is 36, minus 4 would be 32. Next problem. If DE is x squared minus 6 and AB is x squared plus 4. Now remember, if this is, so I'm going to do this on this side. If this is x squared minus 6, and this is x squared plus 4, remember we got to double it. So this doubled would be 2x squared minus 12. So now I got to set those equal to each other. 2x squared minus 12 equals x squared plus 4. Now normally when we have an x squared, we would get everything to equal 0. But usually we have an x squared and an x. I don't have an x by itself, so I can just get x on one side. And that's going to give me x squared equals 16. Then I can square root, and x equals plus or minus 4. Well, no matter which one I plug in, I want to know AB. 4 squared is 16 plus 4. That would be 20. Next one. If BD is an angle bisector, that tells me these two are congruent. Okay? When in doubt, we're going to always draw a triangle. Oh, I don't even need to do that. So actually, I see a big triangle here. I want to know what x is. Well, this is 52, so is this. And that means the whole thing is 104. So how would I find x? Well, I have one angle and two angles. Add them together. That's 137. And then you just subtract from 180. And that gives you 43. Don't forget your degree sign. Well, actually, it asked for x, so you would have been good with just 43. For this one, it says BD is an altitude. So I'm going to, draw a 90-degree angle right there. It also, because these both have that right there, that means they're congruent. So that means this is also 27 degrees. So the way to find this one out is, again, draw a big triangle. These all should add up to 180. So I have 90 and 27, which gives me 117. If I subtract that from 180, I get this whole angle is 63 degrees. But I want to know x, and I already know part of it's 27, so 63 minus 27 gives me 36 degrees. And again, it's asking for x, so you didn't, right there it doesn't have the degree sign on it, but. For the back, altitudes is orthocenter. Median is centroid. Perpendicular bisector is circumcenter, and angle bisector is incenter. For 22, you didn't have to be exact. I just wanted you to show some lines. So it says draw and label median AR. Well, A is right here, so it has to be a median to this side right there. And I'm going to label that R, and I'm going to show that by showing that the two sides are the same. It's a median. Draw an altitude FG. So F is right here. I'm going to turn this a little bit. So I'm going to draw a line straight down, and I'm going to say that's perpendicular, and that's how I prove that it's an altitude. A perpendicular bisector of AC. So the perpendicular bisector, I'm going to turn this around. Can you see that? AC is right here. I need to draw a midpoint, show that those are equal, and then make it 90 degrees. And there's your perpendicular bisector. Oh, let's draw an arrow there and an arrow there. Okay. And then it says an angle bisector of ET. Oh, an angle bisector ET. So here's E. It needs to be a bisector. So I'm going to label that T, and that shows that that's a bisector by making it congruent. On your test, you're not going to have to actually draw those, but you're going to be able to have to look at these and know, oh, ET is the angle bisector. FG is an altitude because of what it shows around it. Okay. For this one, it says exactly one of the values A, B, or C can be determined. Find it. Now, in order to find it, I have to know, in order to do anything, I have to know which one's a mid-segment. Remember, a mid-segment it's the midpoint. So this point is not a midpoint. That's not one because those aren't equal. But this one is a midpoint because those are equal. And this one is a midpoint because these are equal. So A is my mid-segment. But now I have to find it by looking at this side. How long is this side? Well, it's 63. If this side is 63, how can I find A? By dividing by 2. And 63 divided by 2 is 31.5. So A equals 31.5. I can't find B or C because those aren't mid-segments, so I can't divide it by 2. Now here, if this is 2x, then this is a mid-segment of this, so that would be 4x. And this is in the middle of here, so that would be 8x. Well, those are the same, so I can make them equal. And I get 2x equals 14 when I move them both over, and then I would get x equals 7. Use the picture to the right to answer the following questions. Name the remote interior angles for 4. Well, 4 is right here. So remote interior are the inside angles that it doesn't touch. So it touches 3, but it does not touch my angle 2 and angle 5. Name the exterior angles whose remote interior angles are 5 and 3. Well, here's 5, here's 3. My other angle is 2, so the exterior angles to that are angle 1 and angle 7. Also, I want to note, like, if I put an 8 right here, that would not be an exterior angle because they're vertical angles. Last but not least, if I say 1 is 85, and I say 3 is 27, how do I find 5? Well, remember, my remote interior angles equal my exterior angle. So 5 and 3 equal 1. So if 3 is 27 and 85, I have to subtract them, and 85 minus 27 gives me 58 degrees. Alright, 3 more problems. For this one, I'm giving you angle 2, angle 5, and angle 4. Now remember, these are the interior. They equal, my remote interior equal my exterior. So angle 5 plus angle 2 equals angle 4. Now on your test, you don't have to write that, but I'm just writing that to show you. So 4x plus x squared equals 140. Again, I have an x squared and an x this time, so I do need to make it equal 0. And what factors of 140 give me 4? That would be 14 and 10. I want a positive 4. So x is going to equal negative 14 and oh, I did that wrong. That's supposed to be minus 10. And a positive 10. If I plug negative 14 into here, though, it'll give me a negative number, so we can't use that one. So I'm going to exit out. And 10, so I know x is 10. Now I got to go through and find all my angles. It's actually asking for all your other angles. So if I can find 5, which is 4x, 4 times 10, that makes angle 5 40. If angle 5 is 40, 6 is the linear pair. So 180 minus 40 is 140 degrees. For angle 2, we got x squared. Well, x is 10. Angle 2 is 100, so the linear pair 1 would be 80 degrees. And angle 7 is vertical angles with angle 1, so that's also 80 degrees. I want to classify this by sides. Well, if I have two congruent angles, by sides it would be isosceles. If you put obtuse here, that would be by angles. I'm not asking for that. Okay? If ABC is an isosceles triangle, so I'm going to draw that. With the base AC, that means those two are congruent. If AB is 4x plus 15, BC is 2x plus 55, and AC is 3x plus 20. Notice I'm giving you all three of them. But are all three of them equal? No, only these two. So I'm going to make it 4x plus 15 equals 2x plus 55, because those are congruent. When I solve it out, I get 2x equals 40, so x equals 20. But I don't know, I don't want to know x. I want to know the perimeter. So I'm going to have to plug in. 4 times 20 is 80 plus 15, that gives me 90. Oh, 95, sorry. And so this should also be 95 because it's isosceles. Now 3 times 20 is 60 plus 20 gives me 80. Perimeter is adding all the sides. So 95 plus 95 plus 80 would be 270. There's no units, so I don't need to label them. Okay, last one. I have triangle DEF. D and F are congruent, the angles, but DE is 10x squared minus 100. EF is 5x squared plus 40x. And DF is 15x. And again, because these angles are congruent, these sides are congruent. So I can set those equal. There's an x. There's an x and squared, so I'm going to move them all to one side. And 10x squared minus 5x squared gives me 5x squared minus 40x minus 100 equals 0. I can divide everything by 5, so I get 1x squared minus 8x minus 20 equals 0. And then factors of 20 that give me 8 would be 10 and 2. I want a negative 8, so I'm going to do negative 10, positive 2, which will give me positive 10, negative 2. Now, I'm going to tell you the negative will not work. So I'm going to go through and plug this in. Be careful when you plug in. Plug it in exactly as you see it. So I'm going to do 10 parentheses, 10. The squared goes on the outside, minus 100. That gives me 900 as this side. Let me make sure that's what the other one gives me. 5 parentheses 10. The squared goes on the outside, plus 40 times 10. Whoa, what did I do wrong? Oh, I did minus. Oops. Plus. There we go. And I also got 900. Now last one, 15 times 10 would be 150. I want to know the perimeter. So 900 plus 150 gives me 1950 units. All right, good luck. Study for your test. If you're in my class, your test is over pages 19 through 25. Thank you.